Alright, I have a surprising but bit disappointing announcement, which is that Jimmy Neutron God Blast Rocket Race game has supposedly been found. I say supposedly because I don't think it's actually the full version of the game, but here it is. So, someone named Kaj, K-A-J, came into the 3D Groove Discord and pointed out that if you go to admin.nick.com instead of nick.com, you just add this to the beginning of the URL as the subdomain, it brings you to this old, outdated, broken version of the Nick website, which still has the Jimmy Neutron God of Blast Rocket Race game on it. Typing in an old MyNick account to this page will actually log you in, and you can play the game. I can't demonstrate that because I don't have a MyNick account, so I can't actually do that, as Nick's website just redirects to YTV for me as I'm in Canada. Run this in windowed mode. It's not meant to run in windowed mode. It's meant to run in the browser. It's better off in full screen though. It can run in the browser or in full screen. It's not meant to run in windowed mode. But if we run it in windowed mode as I've set it up here, alright, thankfully it's not too difficult to get this running in windowed mode, and we got that epic flash animation. So it's the only reason I'm doing it in windowed mode is just so it's easier to record. If we hit play game, you'll see that it's kind enough to let us play, even though it can't contact the server, to which we will be brought to a menu. Notice, however, that it says you can still play the game, but your new score and any changes you make to your rocket will not be saved. Nowhere here does it mention multiplayer. So the only function of the server in this particular game is to save your data. It doesn't mention multiplayer anywhere. Now we get to choose our character. We get to customize our ship. This is the coolest looking one. We have a rocket lab. Change this to, let's say, yellow. That looks a little bit better. So yeah, there's your rocket customization. Notice, however, that there's no ability to enter in a mega power-up code anywhere here. There's no ability to enter in a mega power-up code anywhere, so where do you do that? The game code is supposed to be entered on the site. It's not entered into the game directly, so that makes sense. But there's no ability to enter in a mega power-up code, and part of the whole point of this was finding those on, like, cereal boxes. So where is that? It's not here. It's not a feature here. Okay? And no, the help menu doesn't say anything about it either. So let's hit race. Okay, so we're thrown into this space level. Notice how there's only this level, the space level. We never got to a level select screen. And indeed, by going through the game's files, I was able to verify that that is the only level. So this is a problem because the advertisement said that there are 4 levels, and the space level is the only one here. Furthermore, there's no mention of multiplayer. And before you say it's just because the server is offline and therefore didn't offer the ability to do multiplayer, I'll show you what it looks like with the server online, as I was able to basically fake it thinking that the server is online. But notice how this is an on-rails shooter. So even if it were online, no player would be able to surpass one another or get ahead of the other, suggesting that this is an entirely different gameplay format, or indeed an entirely different game, and only the menu is the same. It definitely is Jimmy Neutron God of Blast Rocket Race game. It says it right here on this web page, but this seems to be in a different format, or at least doesn't seem to match the description that the advertisements gave, and I don't want to believe that they created whole other 3 levels just as false advertising. So let's, oh yeah, you can't use that close button. You have to use that one because it's not meant to be run in windowed mode. And it has an exit log on it. Notice that the game structure here we have blast0.dcr. This is the file that ties everything together. It's basically just the main game file. It's a standard convention to put a 0 on the end of the file name of a 3D groove game that contains content and is a DCR file. So it makes sense that this would be called blast0.dcr. Notice, however, that we have blastx0.cct. This is an external cache containing the textures for the first level, and this name implies that there is supposed to also be a blastx1, 2, and 3 containing the other levels, but that doesn't exist on the server. This file, the only reason I think you would externalize this file is if you had more levels. I mean, I can't really see why else it would be externalized, especially considering that the other game this seems to have just been lifted from, which is Jimmy Neutron Space Blast, didn't externalize that. So, also this file, blastx.cct, it's only a kbit large, and it seems to just be a script for contacting the server. Now, if I go in here, I actually... these are actually all static files. They aren't scripts at all, but they're JHTML extension to convince the game that there is actually a server here. If we run it now, it won't give us an error message about there being no server, but you can see that it's pretty much the same. Also, I have capped out my nick points so that it will think that I have a lot of nick points, and that's really the only difference here. So you can see my nick points changed because I made it think that I have a ton of nick points. But it's pretty much the same. There is no ability to race online anywhere. The closest thing we get to that is a non-functioning leaderboard. And that's it. So, yeah, I'm not convinced that this is actually the full game. It seems like there should be more content than this, because the file structure suggests that there should be, the advertisement suggests that there should be, and there should be more levels, there should be online multiplayer, there should be mega power-up code, at least the option to put them in. And if we look at the rules, because you can actually view the rules as well, and we hit cancel on all of these admin dialogues, if we find there's actually, it says, once you build your rocket, you can race/test drive it and online in one of the courses found in the game, implying that there's more than one. This game actually does have multiple levels in it, but they're both in space, that same space environment. Now, if we look at the hexadecimal for the game, if you look, at the binary data for the game in a hex editor, we can see that there's actually some credits. We have Jules Urbach, who's the CEO of Groove. He's already been asked about these games, and he couldn't give them out for whatever reason, or he said that he could, but I guess he couldn't find them. Also, his name is misspelled here, which is kind of funny. We have Tessa Blakely, which I don't recognize at all as a name. It says copyright 2002 Gigawatt Studios, presumably the game's developer. And it says programmed Scott Davis, which is another name I don't recognize, but I guess he supposedly programmed this. So I suppose we could try and investigate these people and figure out if maybe they still have it. Also, this game is very similar to Jimmy Neutron Space Blast, which in this section was credited to Mark Andrade from Andrade Arts, who now runs a company called Retrostalgic. I don't have a Twitter, so I can't contact him on there, which is the only way other than his Twitch I know of to contact him. But he's responsible for like some old Shockwave extras, such as the Enhancer and Mouse Control extras, both of which I have playback but not authoring versions of, and he also made a few Shockwave games. And he seems to have been involved with this, but I don't know if he's only credited because his extra was used by the game or not. So we have a few guys who seem to have been somewhat involved with this game. Oh yeah, also, here's the path to the game on the original computer it was compiled on an H drive of all drive letters. Anyway, I really don't... I guess the next step is to contact these guys, but I'm really not convinced that this is the full version of the game. It is a 3D Groove game, for sure. It's using the groove extra, and it's it's the right game, at least it's related to the right game, because on this page it says Gotta Blast Rocket Race game right here. It is the right game because it was on this page upon login. But it seems to be missing content, and my guess is that this is some sort of stripped down version of the game for after the promotion was over, and it's missing those levels. So I don't know. Um, so anyway, uh, thanks for watching, or rather listening, because this video is mostly talking. But my point is that I don't think this is the full game. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video, or not video, whatever is the next thing I upload to my YouTube channel, whether it be just me talking or not. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Hopefully this full game is found. Bye.